associates, network, all our network all around the world. As many people will be joining around and also watching this broadcast later. We want to say good evening to you, good afternoon, good morning from depending on where you're connected from, and we welcome you yet to another wonderful session of a leadership conversation right here in ITWLA Europe channel. Welcome you once again, and this is a place really we're getting educated, we're getting empowered, and we're also here to solve especially the major and one problem of our world today is leadership. Why? Because leadership determines everything. And now we've been enjoying Ambassador, the leadership catalyst, for the last this is the third week. We've been enjoying, his stay with us, and I really want to welcome him back again. I told you we're going to have him all through the month, and I welcome back dear Ambassador Yemi Akishwaju, the leadership catalyst. So, good evening, sir.
Good evening to you, sir. Ambassador Jide Modede. Thank you so much for having me once again. It's always a joy and a privilege to spend time with you and our ITWLA family and all the audience from around the world. Thank you so much for honoring us with your time this evening and when you do get to watch this session.
Thank you so much, sir. You're welcome back. I'm telling you, it's been a very interesting journey, through this last 2 weeks, and the things that you've been sharing with us in this conversation has just been phenomenal. And I think it's so educating as well. And we're getting a lot of comments back. I think we were talking about characteristics of the future global leader, or the kind of leader that we really need. And you were talking to us about we need visionary leaders. We need generational, that word is not left in generational thinkers, because it's so evident all around us that most of our so-called leaders do not think even beyond their position the next year or even the next month or just beyond themselves. So we need to get back to that place. And what we enjoy in our world today, you could see it's because some people were visionary enough to think about generations yet unborn. Also, we're looking at some other things last week, and I think we looked at the things that Mahatma Gandhi said would destroy leadership. And one very point that we talked on, I can remember very well, is politics without principles. And I can see the way you add on this that a lot this particular problem is so evident, and especially in developing countries as well, that you see that this will create a lot of cynicism, especially among citizens. Citizens lose hope with this kind of attitude, and it destroys leadership and is destroying leadership. Let me just put it that way. With a whole lot of other points that you share with us, and they were just fantastic without taking too much time. But however, after last week, I had some fantastic comments, from our viewers, and I think we just decided, okay, we'll touch on one of them as well as we go into a session today, because people are really thinking and saying, look, how do these leaders think? And I think, this is one, I just want us to pick up one before we go into a session today. And one of the comments that came is, I would love to, and this is one of the viewers, one of the people in the audience, and part of our associate as well. And they said, I would love to get into the heads of the leaders in post to understand their point of view. What are their drivers for the things they do? And the person put in quotes, African leaders. What drives them to do some of the things they do? Because I see some things that some of our leaders do, decisions that they make, things they just do that literally, I don't know. I don't even know how to respond. So I'm going to leave it to the leadership catalyst himself. Please give us some thoughts on what you see. You hear some things on the news, and it's like, are you being serious? Please.
Well,
try and get into their head.
That question is a pretty profound question. Mm. Now, I think I'll preface this by saying I don't want to presume to know the minds of our African leaders, okay. Because some of them do have some pretty strange thinking. However, I think it is important to understand that regardless of what a leader says they're thinking, the true test or the proof of what they're thinking is manifested in the outcomes of the decisions that they take. I could be telling you and lying to you straight to your face that I am thinking A, but when the decisions that flow from my thinking brings me to an outcome D, then it is pretty clear that although I told you I was thinking A, I was actually thinking D, because it is said that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So what we see expressed, what we see manifested, is the true outcome of their thinking. Not what they tell us they're thinking, not what they pretend to be thinking, but the actual outcomes prove the quality of their thinking and what they're actually thinking. And so that then brings us back to the point about, based on the outcomes that we see, what are they thinking? And I think you already alluded to that even in the preface for today's session, which is the fact that many of our leaders do not think beyond their projects, their pet projects. They do not think beyond their self-aggrandizement. They do not think beyond amassing benefits for themselves or perhaps their close friends and family and their vested interests, as it were. In essence, I think it's safe to say that many of our African leaders do not truly love their people. And I think that really is where we can pretty much anchor this. Because the truth of the matter is, when you love the people that you are called to serve, it manifests in the choices that you make, it manifests in the decisions that you make, it manifests in the quality of the thinking that goes even into the projects that you choose to fund for your people, if it is anchored truly in love for the people. Now, I know particularly in the corporate world, sometimes you have people say to you, oh, I didn't come to work to make friends. I didn't come to show love, or they think love is a soppy word. No, in fact, as a leader, love is the most powerful evidence of genuine and true leadership.
My God.
In fact,
Say that again, please. Say that again. Love is the most,
is the most powerful evidence of true leadership.
Wow. Love is the most powerful evidence of true leadership.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That is right on point. It's like what they say, that flesh and blood has not revealed this to you.
But you think about it really, the ancient texts, the scriptures, the constitution of the kingdom reveals it to us very clearly. It says, for God so loved the world. And it is out of that love, the predicate of that love, that inspires that which he gave, his only begotten son. And so that which you give to your followers, that which you give to your constituents, is a reflection of the love that you have. And so if you're giving your constituents as an African leader poor roads, if you're giving them dilapidated bridges, if you're setting up infrastructure that collapses, in months, that reflects the love that you truly have. The ultimate leader gave himself for the benefit of those he came to serve. And so for us, the true test really is, how much do we love our constituents? So to really answer the question that our viewer asked, to get into the minds of our leaders, is to ask the question, how much do you truly love your people?
My God. You just open up a whole kind of something interesting here. Don't let me use another word, for the choice of words, because, if truly, I was watching a broadcast, and I think it was by Ave, forgot his second name now, and he was doing a broadcast. He was doing a show regarding Dubai, the UAE, and he was going about and looking and have a conversation with one of their leaders. He said, how do you build a city, a nation, a country like this? He said, this can only be because of the love that you have for your people, because you are not the one that's going to use this. It's every one of you that are going to use it. Then you look at the health system, you look at the roads, you look at the airport, you look at the business, you just look at, and everything is like, what is this?
Absolutely.
Definitely, this must be birthed out of love, because you want your people to have an experience that is just out of this world, and that really brings us back to a developing nation as well. And what you're just sharing, that why would you give a service that will not really meet the needs of the people to them? Why would you even take away the money of your constituent away, which you should have used to actually solve their problem? How do you deal with that kind of leadership? And how do we solve that kind of leadership? I think I just got to leave this on your lap. How are we going to deal with this? Because, or else, if we don't deal with that, then development is far from us. Oh,
You're right.
fact, can I say something that just dropped in my heart? That means our development is tied to our love for the people.
Absolutely.
Oh my. Okay, take it from there, please.
Absolutely. That you've really hit the knob on the head. The development of our people, development of our nations, are tied to the love the leaders have for the people. The true test, like we said earlier, is this: when we love, we give sacrificially. When we love, we serve sacrificially. When we love, we do not take from our people, we give to them.
Wow.
Because love is always an outflow from the heart of the lover to the loved. Where you have a leadership that is always focused on the inflow from the follower to the leader, that is no longer leadership. That is manipulation. That is tyranny.
Whoa.
That is a leadership that is dysfunctional. But how do we solve it? Well, one, sessions like these hopefully will encourage our viewers, our audience, to share this with those in their arena of influence, people they are connected with, other leaders that they know, to share this with them. So at least hopefully they begin to understand that there's a different perspective to how they can lead our people. That's the first thing. And the second thing is each one of us begin to raise a new breed of leaders.
Fantastic.
A breed of leaders who will not settle for the status quo of devouring the lot of their followers. A new breed of leaders who are committed to truly loving the constituents. A new breed of leader who say, I am prepared to give all that I am, who that I am, to serve for the betterment of my people.
Fantastic.
So we need to now begin to cultivate those kind of leaders. The sad thing is oftentimes when I speak to the young people in many African nations, unfortunately, many of them have begun to imbibe some of the unfortunate precepts and ideas and philosophies of the dysfunctional leaders they've experienced. And so this really is a clarion call to all our young and emerging leaders across Africa, across the diaspora, across the third world context, that you have to decide that you will no longer settle for the kind of poor leadership that you have experienced. If you're intent on breaking the cycle of poverty, the cycle of deprivation that our nations have experienced, you and I have to make a conscious choice to raise our own leadership context, raise our own leadership game, and determine that everything that we do in the service of our people will be born out of love. When you love your people, when you negotiate contracts with international bodies, you will negotiate those contracts with a view to the betterment of your people.
That's right.
Okay. When you go to international arenas to discuss, and they're coming up with policies, and the United Nations are making policies on health, policies on global finance. The International Monetary Fund, they're making decisions, and you're sitting there as an African leader. Your mindset is not focused on how many dollars they will bring in and you'll be able to get a kickback from it. Your mindset is focused on, are the terms and conditions of these loans that are being offered to my nation, are these terms and conditions, are they beneficial to our people, not just in the short term, but in the long term? Are they making demands that would strip the assets of your nation and leave your people in continued deprivation? When they're bringing in businesses into your nation, are they offering the capacity to develop your people, to generate businesses for your people, and transfer technology and capacity for your people so that they grow, they learn, they take quantum leaps in development, technologically, scientifically, in the development of their nations? Or do you simply say, oh yes, okay, for the sake of political expediency, you bring in this project, but there's no technology transfer to your nation. They come in, they use the asset scrape, and they remit all the foreign exchange that they make back to their nations, and your people remain in poverty. They come in, they develop products and services that pollute the environment in which your people have to live, and yet the leadership of that nation does nothing. All of that flows from not really having a true heart of love for the people. And our young leaders need to now step up to the plate to say, no, we need, and we are prepared to become a new breed of leader. Okay? Because the truth of the matter is, we cannot demand of our leaders that which we are not prepared to be ourselves.
That's right. That's right. You're very, very. Thank you so much, Ambassador Yemi. My God, do you know, friends, today we've been discussing one of the comments and concerns or question, we put it all together, of one of our viewers from last week, and this has been exactly, what we touch on today. And I think, on this note, I really want to encourage as many people that will view this as well to please subscribe to this channel, ITWLA Europe Leadership Conversation, and press the notification bell as well so that you can get this broadcast every Monday night, 9 p.m. UK time. We're here to discuss this. And I think with this being said, every one of us has a role to actually play. As much as the people in leadership positions, about all of us, as you know, we're all born leaders, and we are supposed to process our leadership. And these are, pointers that we really need to put in place. Your love for others will actually affect the kind of decisions that you make. Either you make it in the boardroom, you make it in the family, you make it in the context of a business. You will rip people off because of your love for people. And I think this is a fantastic one. And I think that takes us, I want us to, because our time is really rolling. Okay, let's just take this, one step higher and go back to Mahatma Gandhi. As you know, Mahatma Gandhi gave us some principles that said, can destroy our leadership. And I wanted us to touch on this particular one that says, wealth without work. Wealth without work. Wealth without work. Welcome. So talk to us about this. And I think this is just going to do it for us. I don't think we're going to go anywhere other than that. Yes.
Well, again, I think that comes to the heart of the leaders that we're raising. The truth of the matter is this. Work, when we understand what work is, okay, we actually come to love work. Because I see work really as the pathway to unveiling and maximizing your potential.
That's right. That's right.
Many people, particularly within the African context, simply see work as something that they do just to earn a living.
Yes, get by.
And if you see work simply as something just to earn a living, I think you do yourself a disservice. Because work really is the opportunity to serve your gift, to
That's
others.
right.
And
Yes.
as you serve that gift to others in the place, in that arena that we call work, then people reward that service
Please,
by giving
Ambassador
wealth.
Yemi, I'm gonna drag you back a little bit. Say that again to our audience and all the people to hear. That work is the opportunity to
Serve your
serve
gift
to
to
others.
others. Because each and every one of us come innately loaded with gifts, potentials, capacity, ability to make a change, to make a difference, to be a change agent wherever we have been placed.
Fantastic.
However, the pathway, the avenue through which that transformative effort is deployed to that arena is through work.
Wow.
Work is the pathway to releasing your gift. Work is the gateway into the maximization of your potential.
Fantastic.
Work is the channel through which you actually express your love to your people.
Fantastic.
Okay?
Fantastic.
And it is in the fulfillment of that work, okay, in the pursuit of that work, that people reward you with what we call wealth. The challenge that we now have is people who want the reward, okay, they want the harvest without having sown the seed of work. Now that is a violation of natural law.
So work, you got to work first to be rewarded.
Absolutely.
But I see an opposite to that. People just want reward without work.
They want the wealth without the work. And in the pursuit of generating wealth without work, in the pursuit of generating wealth without delivering something of value to others, okay, they now engage in activities or pursuits that are destructive, either to themselves individually, destructive to others that they engage with, or destructive to the wider community. Okay? Because the truth of the matter is everything that we do is a seed. And every seed brings a harvest.
That's true. That's true.
So if I undertake an activity that is in the pursuit of wealth, either I decide I want to go and sell drugs, that's the drugs that I sell is a seed into somebody's life that destroys somebody's life. When you sow the seed of destruction into somebody's life, it is just a matter of time. You must reap the harvest of destruction back in your own life.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay? Because the laws of the universe that the Creator has put into place cannot be violated. You may think that you are violating. Somebody once said that you never break the laws of God.
That's right.
The laws break you.
That's right. That's true.
Okay?
That's true.
So you cannot persistently violate the laws of the universe that the Creator has put in place and expect that you will get away with it, whether an individual or a community or a business or a nation. Whatsoever you sow, you must expect to reap. And so when you pursue wealth without the choice to deliver value, positive value, beneficial value in the arena of work for other people, it is just a matter of time. You will reap a harvest, and it will be a negative harvest of the seeds that people are sowing. What I would ask is that people, again, develop a fresh mindset. Absolutely. That sees their work, as the opportunity to unveil their genius to the world.
Fantastic. You know what you're saying right now is a major problem, because we've literally in some of our developing, and I could touch on the African nations, for example, that is become a culture. Wealth without work. People are just pursuing wealth but not adding any value to their community, not adding value to other people's life, not adding value to their world, and yet we're pursuing wealth with every means, outside of work. It's become a culture. And I can see from what you're saying where this can really we can self-destruct.
Absolutely.
We can self-destruct because we're working against the laws or the laws of nature itself.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know, whatever you've not planted, you can't reap. You got to sow seed. So, and that means we're gonna do some things that are gonna be outside of the natural. Yeah, we're gonna do some things that are outside of natural. And once you do that, that means you're gonna destroy ourselves. Wow, this is so important. This is so vital. Somebody commented and said this needs to be on BBC. That's a comment. So and I'm because this a whole kind of worms, like literally. And please, viewers, as much as ITWLA addresses third world issues, third world is both physical place, developing nations, and also a mindset. So third world exists even in the first world as well. People carry a third world within the context of a first world as well. So these are tools that we can use wherever we find ourselves, as many who also watch this broadcast as well. And these are very key factors, especially Mahatma Gandhi says, these are one of the things that can destroy our leadership. And this is just one point. We're planning to do about 2 or so today, but I'm not sure we're able to do that. But that's okay. We don't just want to load you with information. We want to be practical about our conversation here. How does this apply to us as a family? How does it apply to us as an organization, as a community, as a nation, as a government? How does it apply to us? Somebody was having a discussion with someone. We were just swearing in a state governor, in my own particular state in the country of Nigeria, and people said, well, we need to. How do we deal with these politicians? We need leadership. I say, by the way, a politician is not by default a leader. Yet we come in through a political office, but a politician needs to transit to a leadership role. And this is exactly what they need to do. They need to empathize. They need to have love for the people. For them to be able to achieve anything, they must be ready to lay their lives down. Dr. Miles always tells us, leaders are people that have found what they're willing to die for. And the question is, have you found something that you're willing to die for? And I think on this note, oh my God, Abasayomi, I don't know how the time goes here, but I think we just keep it short and sweet, just like our director will always say, short and sweet, But before we go as well, let me just bring to our notice as well, we're actually going to be having our Global Leadership Forum in the Bahamas, where God lives. And it's going to be from the 3rd to the 4th of November. This is an hybrid conference or summit as well. That means you can log in from wherever you are, and we'll bring in the details of the login to you. Or also use this opportunity to travel to the Bahamas and see the Bahamas. The Bahamas means shallow water, and you see how clear, crystal blue water really looks like. It's a beautiful country. We spend a lot of time in that country. It's a beautiful place, and you will love the Bahamas. And I'm telling you, our host, Miles Monroe Jr. and our entire team of trustees, board of directors, of which Ambassador Yemi is one of them, will definitely be glad to have you in the Bahamas, and they'll give you the Bahamian hospitality. I call it the Bahamian hospitality. You will not regret going to the Bahamas at all. It's the 3rd to the 4th of November, and the theme this year is leadership determines everything. It's such a fantastic thing. We could be there forever with that one. Leadership literally determines everything. And I want you to please put in your diary. If you're not able to go to the Bahamas, by the way, know that you can also go to the Bahamas virtually. So we all are there at the conference and you enjoy that conference. By the way, our time is up. Today, there's some things we want to touch upon, but I can guarantee you know what? We're bringing back Ambassador Yemi still one more time. So watch out for this channel, same time, same broadcast, same channel, next week, 9 p.m., Leadership Conversation at ITWLA Europe. It's so nice serving you one time, and I really want to appreciate as many people who are joining tonight and those who are still going to watch as well. Do have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and thank you so much, Ambassador Yemi, for your time. Thank you. God bless, and have a good night. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Miles Monroe Jr., and I'm the chairman of the board for the International Third World Leaders Association. Our organization was birthed to respond to and address the critical need for quality, effective leadership development and training in the emerging developing nations.
Our vision is to establish a global network of leaders from every discipline,
committed to the highest standards of excellence in leadership training, personal development,
mutual accountability, and fraternal support, implementing relevant and innovative leadership philosophy based on time-tested precepts, principles, and values.
Our mission is to influence the destiny of developing third world nations through leadership training,
personal development, supportive relationships, and global networking.
Our purpose is to provide transformational solutions
in response to the dynamic leadership needs of the emerging third world developing nations.
Our goal is to cultivate leadership commitment
to produce leaders
dedicated to the empowerment of their people,
the progressive well-being of their citizens,
and the betterment of their nation.
The strategic approach captured in the slogan coined by our founder, Dr. Miles Monroe,
was transforming followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. Our focus is national development through transformational leadership,
transforming nations, communities from the inside out.
Join us in ushering in this new era of our organization.
We are tasked with carrying this vision forward,
and we are devoted to ensuring that we leave an unwavering legacy.
The organization that produces effective leaders
with global reach and influence.
Hi, my name is Miles Monroe Jr., and I'm the chairman of the board for the International